outfield, I'm joined by our Wolves correspondent here at the Express and Star, Mr. Tim Spears. Tim, 2 draws on the bounce. Suddenly, everyone's thinking Wolves are wobbling.
It's crisis, mate. It's crisis. It's all over. Playoffs at best.
Yeah,
to be honest. There's an awful lot of negativity floating around last night. Quite a few people suggesting today this is a wobble. Lots of things need sorting out and rectifying. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at the bigger picture here and saying, look, let's just chill out, everybody. They're 9 points clear. They're 13 clear of third. They were 1 kick away from being 15 clear of third last night. You know, if any Wolves fan had been offered that in November, let alone at the start of the season, let alone a year ago, you know, they'd obviously snap your hand off for it and say, what the hell's happening? Like, they're still in dreamland. They're still in a magnificent position. And yes, it was extremely disappointing. I think, you know, the manner of it being the penultimate kick of the whole game, the fact that people saw it coming, you know, it was a fair result. Wolves kind of backed off Norwich a little bit too much in the second half, didn't take control of the game. Equally, they could have put it to bed. They had a couple of chances on a break, but it was a fair result. But do you know what? There's no time to panic at all. And if panic sets in, for goodness sake, that's when they've got a problem. If it feeds down to the players and to the manager and whatnot. But no, it's a time for cool heads. We're getting to the business end now, and I think if Wolves had Bolton at home on Saturday, then there wouldn't quite be this almost despondency. Because I think people would be thinking, you know, they'll get back on track straight away on Saturday. But because they've got this massive game at Fulham away, the hardest game that you can have right at this moment in the Championship. Without Ruben Neves, who's now suspended. People are just a bit worried and saying, oh God, if they lose on Saturday, the gap could be 6 points to Cardiff. You know, even if it does, it's the gap to third that we're looking at for a start. And the Wolves do not have 2 challengers. Everybody's slipping up week after week. Derby and Villa slipped up. It was their turn to slip up this week. Fulham didn't win last night. It'll be someone else on Saturday. You know, I just do not see 2 teams that are capable of catching Wolves.
Is it a sign of the times at Wolves? Because are fans almost expecting wins just week after week now?
Well, that's what they've been treated to week in, week out for most of the season. It's that kind of natural fan pessimism. You know, we've all been there. You know, that you start to think of the worst case scenario or whatever, and you start to look at overanalyze the table and the fixtures. But if you do look at the fixtures, Wolves have got 6 of the bottom 7 still to play. You'd back them to beat every single one of those teams. And I back them to go and get a result at Fulham, for goodness sake, on Saturday, to be honest. They've got Cardiff away, they've got Villa away. None of these games should hold any fear. If you're going to go up, you've got to beat the best. And Wolves have done that all season consistently. So there's a few things to take into account. I think historically, every team finds it more difficult in the second half of the season. Because teams have started to work you out. Teams have learned from their mistakes in the first matches. I mean, we look at the difference between Norwich in October and Norwich last night. They were far better prepared for what they had to face, and they shut down some of Wolves' key strengths and made it a more difficult game. And I think we've seen that quite a lot this season. That happens every season. It's always more difficult in the second half of the season. But Wolves are still grinding out the results. They're unbeaten in 5. They've won 3 and drawn 2 of those. They've lost 1 in 18.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people are considering Wolves on a wobble right now.
No, I understand that kind of natural fan pessimism, and there are issues. There is some fine tuning to be doing. You know, Wolves aren't clinical enough. I know they scored twice again last night, but they should have put the game to bed. They're a little bit less composed than they have been in defence, and kind of contributing to their own problems in that regard. So there is some fine tuning to do. Nuno got it wrong last night. I think that's more than fair enough to say. His tactical changes and substitutions were puzzling, and again contributed to Norwich getting a foothold and getting back into the game. But they've earned the faith of everybody. I think that they will put this right pretty quickly, and I think it's good that they've got a game soon. Quick turnaround to Saturday at Fulham. They've raised their game for the big games all season long. We saw Bristol City away being the classic example, which is reminiscent of this Saturday's game coming up, a big game against a promotion challenger away from home, on telly, and Wolves produced a storming performance that day. They were down to 10 men with their backs against the wall. So I personally back them to do it again. I understand people's concerns, but I certainly back Wolves to put it right.
I suppose the only issue would be complacency, if anything.
Perhaps. I mean, I would have changed the team a bit last night. He picked the same team for the 5th game in a row. few tired legs out there. Alfred and Jai had to come off because he was so tired. I think there's a case for freshening up the team a little bit, but the 11 that have got the shirts at the moment have done so well recently that it's difficult to know who to drop out and who to bring in. Obviously, they've got the enforced change with Neves at the weekend.
Yeah.
Afobe, does he start? Bonatini maybe would come back in. Bonatini makes those players around him look better, I feel, particularly Jota, so he might be one to come back in. But no, like I said, I understand the jitters, but Wolves have earned the faith.
Yeah. So, what's all this talk about a crisis on Wolves? Tim Spears doesn't think anything of it. For the latest on that, make sure you stay with us at expressandstar.com.